Lads. Lads, welcome back to the channel for a brand new match preview. Today we'll be previewing the Sheffield United versus Everton game at Goodison Park. It's taking place tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Can you believe it? Another Premier League match, another terrible kickoff time. So this season, we've barely won any games. We've been bottom for 95% of the season. We've had to contend with VAR and the officials mucking up every big decision, multiple injuries, drops in form, terrible kickoff times, and now the only glimmer of hope for this season is the fact that we can go back to watching football. And how much, Hal, are they wanting to charge us?
£40 English.
What is that all about? When was the last time you paid £40 English for a football match?
I don't pay £40 for anything. I think it was an opportunity to get some goodwill back with the fans. You know, we've been very patient. It's been a terrible season. We would have gone there and applauded. I am now not going to go to the game. I'm not even going to try and get a ticket. We'll do a watch along instead. And I've decided to donate money to NHS charities, the exact same amount, because it feels to me like as a protest, that was a good thing to do. Burnley, who were playing, decided that you could, as a fan, donate to charity and entry would be free. And I think that would be a good call because the Blades aren't going to make any money on this as a club. Probably going to be a net loss anyway. So it doesn't seem sensible to then charge such a high amount for such a dreadful product on the field.
No, definitely not. And I'm not as rich as you, Hal, so my £40 will be going towards my season ticket for next season. So let's get this video off and running. It's obviously a video today, no stream, so it'll probably be a little bit of a quicker one, which is probably good because I think a lot of fans this season have lost the will to live with watching us play football. I think me and you are putting more effort into these videos than the players are putting into performances.
It feels that way. I would just like to take a moment to say my hair is looking magnificent today. So thank you for doing this video when you have, because I would have washed it by the time we were going to do later. The game, unfortunately for us, is on BT Sport 1, which does mean a slightly delayed watch along. We'll be sort of a couple of minutes behind. That is 6:30 p.m. Our watch along starts on this channel for Sunday. So do join us for that. Only 3 more to go.
Yeah, exactly. 3 more excruciating matches that we have to watch. But hopefully, me and Hal put you in a little bit of a better mood, because if it wasn't for the watch-alongs, I'd be probably drinking beer and shouting and screaming at the TV. So we just have a laugh, don't we, mate? And if you haven't watched one before, make sure you do. Make sure you tune in. We have a good time. Anyway, let's move on to the Palace game. A bit of a debrief to the Palace game. Well, I'm going to put in about as much effort into this debrief as the Blades put in to the game themselves. So Palace went 1-0 up after 2 minutes. Didn't even see it because it was that quick. Palace went 2-0 up with a couple of minutes left of the match. Full time, the end. Not even a shot on target.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yes, it is. Embarrassing. It was really embarrassing. Could barely string 3 passes together. Barely got near their goal. The fact that we conceded within 2 minutes and it was such a sloppy goal, both deflections, which for me, that's a tiny saving grace because at least we tried to get a block on the ball. But it's just this season all over, isn't it? 2 deflections, 2-0. Got beaten quite easily, and Eze just had us on toast, really.
Well, let me cheer you up. Let me remind you of a better time. The last time we played Everton at Goodison Park, 21st of September 2019, Sheffield United won away for the first time on our return to the Premier League as a Yerry Mina own goal and a late Lys Mousset strike condemned Everton to defeat at Goodison Park. We had to withstand some pretty big pressure. I mean, Everton looked like they were going to be all over us from the first whistle, and they were. But We hit them on the break. Bernard, which never sounds like a Brazilian name, had a penalty appeal waved away. Everton struggled to find a way through. It was a very resolute Blades defence. And we managed just 2 efforts on goal, only one of them on target, yet we won 2-0. Everton had 16 attempts.
16 attempts, and we had 1. Again, though, 1 more than we had in the last game. So, yeah, not too bad. The first goal was a pretty fortunate one. But anyway, that's the things that went for us last season. Nothing like that's gone for us this season, or maybe an own goal here or there. But anyway, we'll move on to team news and my predicted lineup. So, as always, me and Hal both do separate team lineups. Hal does his on the Twitter account at Sheffield United Way. So go over there, follow, give it a like, and tell Hal what you think of his team lineup. Before we get into that, we'll go for injury news, and it's more injury news. I'll quickly bring Hal back in. More injury news, way, because we've not had enough of that this season, have we?
Yeah, beset by injuries. I've never known a season like it.
No. And the fact that through all Chris Wilder's reign, we've barely had any injury worries at all, have we? So, yeah, pretty poor. But anyway, let's get back into it. It's not their fault. I don't think, anyway. I don't think it's the training's fault. It's just one of them seasons. Sometimes you have them, and quite a lot of the time, when you look at least one team in the bottom 3 of the Premier League, or any leagues really, they're quite often hampered with injury problems. Look at Derby. Derby nearly went down the second half of the season because they had so many injury problems. But they didn't, and Sheffield Wednesday went down. Anyway, new injury news. Ollie Burke has a fracture in his foot. Hey, thanks for that, Hal. Ollie Burke's got a fracture in his foot, so that means he's out for the season. He also put up a comical, well, I don't think he thought it was a comical, book on his Instagram that said something like, how to play football or something daft like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we'll move on from that. It was quite funny, and a lot of people took the mick out of it. Ethan Ampadu, he's not been playing for the past few games. I thought his nose was out of joint, and they kind of thought, oh, he's not going to play next season, so let's move on. But no, pelvic issues that he's had all season. Well, a while. That's what Hecky Bum said, that he's had them for a while. So who knows? That might have hampered his kind of performance this season, because he certainly had a poor start to the season. Then we move on to kind of your older injuries that have been there for the past few weeks at least. Jack O'Connell's been there since pretty much the start of the season. That doesn't change. Billy Sharp is obviously still out for the season. And finally, the master of disaster, Ollie Black Eye Giver McBurney, is obviously out for the season. Sorry, Hal, I didn't mean to do that. It was a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, let's move on. So, predicted lineup. There we go. It's on screen right now for you. So, we've gone Ramsdale in the goal. Basham, Egan, Brian, the 3 at the back. For some reason, I don't know. I've thrown Bogle in there because, I don't know, why not? I'm bored. I just want to see some attacking football. So, it'd be great to see Bogle in there at some point. I fully expect to see Baldock there, but yeah, it is what it is. Stevens at left wing back, Norwood at defensive midfield. As we didn't realise, but Sander Berger apparently picked up a knock. I don't know exactly what that is and the extent of that injury. It doesn't sound like he's out for the season, and it wasn't the injury that he was suffering from before. But it looks like he's going to be out of this game. But you never know. If he's got sort of some Chris Basham powers, he might be back in there by tomorrow. John Fleck, I've gone for left centre mid. Then we've gone for Osborne on the right, just because Osborne has been one of the best in the past few weeks, even though he was dropped last week. And then we've got up front, for me, player of the season, David McGoldrick. And next to him, I've gone for Daniel Jefferson. And Hal, I've got a song for you for Daniel Jefferson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. No, not Jebbo. It goes, sweet Jefferson, better than Cole. He scores goals. Scores goals. What do you think?
You know what? That's actually all right.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Let's go for that one. Thank you.
I like that.
It's all right. It's all right. I did it last night over a few beers. So, yeah, let's move on.
Most of the best ideas come from a few beers.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll move on from that. I'll probably bring that up in the watch along again, and then yeah, we'll have a song off because mine doesn't have any trains involved.
It's in my head now. It's good.
Yes, love it. You gotta love Sweet Caroline. Got to. So opposition news, Hal, and predicted lineup. What are you going to go for?
Everton will again be without the services of Jean-Philippe Mbamin, whoever he is, and Yerry Mina could potentially be back, so that's good news for us. He likes to score the odd own goal for the Blades. Cuddly Carlo is also hopeful that James Rodriguez, or James, will be available to start. They are not expected to make many changes from the side that drew with the Villa. Everton's possible starting lineup: Pickford in goal, Holgate, Keane, Godfrey, Dean, Rodriguez, that's James, Decore, Allen, honestly, that's a Brazilian, Sigurdsson, Richarlison, and former Blade, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Very, very nice, very nice. Did you say Luca Dean?
Is that how you say it? Yeah, Dean, D-I-G-N-E.
I'm going to have to, well, just tell you, if anybody out there watches Nepenthe's FIFA videos, you'll know that his name is Digne. That's how it's said.
Digne. Okay.
Digne, because he called him Luca.
Like
he said some French person in his comments section said it wasn't Luca Dean, it was Digne. So there you go.
I like that a lot. So for the watch along, I will constantly pronounce it Digne. And I think he could be heavily involved in what's going to be my score prediction, Nick, and you're not going to like it. I'm sorry. I started the season so optimistic. I'm giving you it now. 3-0.
No way. No way. Guess what mine is, mate?
3-0.
3-0. 3-0. Can you believe that? I think that's the first time we've done that all season.
Yeah, first time we've gone with the same score, and definitely gone against the Blades as well with the same score, which is a tremendous surprise, and it shows how much this season has worn us and weathered us that I started the season predicting us to win literally every game, and it's come to this.
Yeah, no, mate, it's shocking. It's shocking. And do you know what? We've gone back and forth, really. You start off really positive, and then when you went massively the other way, I picked up the positivity train and got it back on the tracks. And I wish I'd not, because choo-choo Basham.
Choo-choo Basham.
Oh, that's it. I forgot it. We're like, choo-choo Basham.
Choo-choo Basham.
That's not the song.
No.
Anyway, let's move on to memorable matches between the two teams. Hal, what have you gone for, so?
Taking you back to the 12th of December, 1992, a 1-0 win for the Blades at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Dave Bassett, our manager. The manager for Everton was Howard Kendall. And the goal scorer for the Blades on 34, the only strike of the game, came from Adrian Littlejohn. But I will give you our team that day because it's not a bad side. Alan Kelly in goal. Then the defenders, David Barnes, Paul Beasley, John Pemberton, Kevin Gage, friend of the channel. In midfield, you got John Gannon, Paul Rogers, Glyn Hodges, Mitch Ward, who, if I had a pick, I'd love to get him on the channel at some stage. Up front, you know the goal scorer, Adrian Littlejohn. Next to him, Brian Dean.
I love that, mate. I absolutely love that because Paul Rogers, Glyn Hodges, there must have been a song in there at some point, surely.
If we'd been around doing channel videos back then, there would have been. Just to give you some of the names on the Everton team, this was not a bad Everton side. Neville Southall, Gary Ablett, also a former Blade, Dave Watson, Martin Keown. We've also got the likes of Peter Beardsley, Barry Horn, Ian Snodin. You know, good side.
I didn't even know that Martin Keown played for anyone else other than Arsenal.
He did. Actually, Peter Beagrie played in this game for Everton as well, another former Blade.
Ooh. Anyway, well, that's a perfect segue to go into players that have played for both, players' connections. So I'll go straight in there and go for one that's definitely going to be starting for Everton, and that's Mr. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 11 appearances for the Blades, 0 goals, 144 appearances for Everton, 40 goals. 7 games for England, 4 goals. How good is that, Hal?
Someone's done their research. Very good. I was surprised.
I've got another one. Are you ready for this? I'll bring him up. Sheffield United are the only team that Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't scored for. as he scored 6 for Stalybridge Celtic and 5 for Northampton Town. But really, mate, 11 games for the Blades. I literally only remember him coming on once.
I don't remember him really. I don't think I ever saw him play for the Blades. But, I was so surprised when he left to go to Everton. I don't think any of us thought he was going to be the player he's become. And now I hope he goes to the Euros.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to, hasn't he? He's got to, really. He's such a great player. And it's something that England don't really have, I think. It's a complete contrast to what the perfect striker is supposed to be in football right now. Just really tall and lanky and just great. He's just got such a great engine on him as well. So I'll let you go. Yeah, just great. But let's hope he doesn't score anyway tomorrow.
My one is David Gerald Unsworth, who, of course, is a left back and played for the Blades very infamously, really, in that spell, of course, at the end when we were in the Premier League. He started his career at Everton, 1992 to 1997, over 100 appearances for them, 11 goals. He always scored a few goals, despite being a defender. Played for Everton again in 1998 to 2004, where he scored 23 goals in 188 appearances. Joined the Blades 2005, scored 4 goals for us, memorably against Hull, to help get us promotion. But when we got promotion, he was shipped off to Wigan, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah. I knew we were going to do that.
It was always going to happen.
It's because Bobby in the background's not here. He's not here.
If in doubt, blame Bobby.
No, I think we blame us because Bobby wouldn't have done that.
He's a pro.
He is a pro. David Unsworth, mate. Oh, God. The fact that he missed a penalty earlier in the season for us, we got rid and then scored the penalty that sent us down. Yeah. Such a Sheffield United thing to happen.
It's classic Blades. And if he'd scored that penalty earlier on in the season, who knows? We might have stayed up when he went down on goal difference.
Yeah, exactly. Let's bring in the next one, which is Mr. Phil Jagielka. Philip Jagielka to his mum. Appearances for the Blades, 269 with 18 goals scored, 1 clean sheet. 322 appearances for Everton, 14 goals. 40 games for England, 3 goals. So we've been able to do the same stat for both, which is brilliant because obviously that means that both have played for England, and hopefully both after this summer will have played in a big tournament for England too, which will be nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And just a special nod to Bobby in the background. He could have found any picture of Jags playing for the Blades that he wanted, and he went with him playing against Arsenal in goal.
We all love that game. I don't think there's many other Jags games, even though he was so brilliant for us, that we'll remember as fondly as that.
Yeah,
and that's not his position.
The Leeds one as well. He scored that rocket. But, of course, Christian Nade, synonymous with that Arsenal game. And he's another one we should try and get on the channel at some point, because I'm sure he'd have a story or two to tell. I'm going to throw up my favourite Blade of all time, which is Mick Ward, who played for Everton, I suppose rather more forgettably. He was much more memorable and very underrated, a utility player. He played for the Blades from the 80s all the way up to 1997, sold on my birthday to Everton, actually, annoyingly. 154 league games, 11 goals, just used to take penalties like an absolute pro. Played 23 times for Everton in the Premier League, then went to Barnsley and York City, where I sponsored him for a season at York. Really good pro and a proper Blade. Came at the same time as Dane Whitehouse, and both still good friends.
Yeah, and right there, that picture of the AVEC kit that we put quite highly in our video, in our stream the other day. And if you didn't see that, it is the home kits that me and Hal ranked. We was on a stream for an hour and a half talking about shirts.
So but don't let that put you off. It was really interesting.
It was great. We enjoyed it, didn't we? And everybody who watched it seemed to really getting involved. And finally, I'm going to bring up a manager that we've spoken about already. Well, Hal's spoken about. Everton, 154 games that he managed for them, and obviously played hundreds of games for Everton as well. For the Blades, he manages only 82 times, which is still a lot of times. And he actually was the Blades manager that managed that team, that great team that got to the playoff final in 97, unfortunately beaten by David Hopkin in the last minute of the game, with Simon Tracy going, oh dear, in the top corner.
Yeah, Howard Kendall.
And that's it. And rest in peace as well. He's not with us anymore, is he?
Absolutely right. Well said. I think that it's going to be one of those days where we don't look back at this as a game that's going to live long in the memory warehouse, this Everton game. We used to do a feature right at the end. How do we win this game? We've kind of stopped doing that now because after being relegated, it's all meaningless. But we do have 3 games left and we will be doing watch-alongs for each and every one of them.
Exactly. So come and join us tomorrow. You will enjoy yourself. I guarantee it. Hal is sometimes funny. And,
sometimes. One thing I would say is, no matter what, it's going to be better listening to Two Blades than BT Sport commentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Any commentary, really. They've all been shocking this season for me. Anyway, let's move on. Move on to the next game. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get something from the game. It would be nice, even if it was a 0-0 draw. I'm begging for a 0-0 draw. That's how bad it's getting right now, mate. Yeah, love a 0-0.
Can't wait. Me.
Yeah.
No chances, no shots.
No. 50 chances to Everton. Rammers saving everything that comes at him. Top corner, bottom corner, 7 deflections, hands everywhere.
Or maybe Rammers goes off early with a minor soft tissue injury and he's absolutely fine. And Jags plays instead. We say League One Wes, you sit down, son. Jags puts on the keeper's gloves and the kit. He puts on Paddy's old top, so it's enormous, and he's the one that saves the 50 shots. That would be a memorable 0-0.
It would be. I've got a quick question for you as well, Hal. Do you think that we might give League One Wes a game at the last game of the season, like what Man City did with Scott Carson?
I don't, actually. I think Rammers would like to look back on the season and see that he played every league game.
Yeah, I played every league game when we got relegated with 17
Well,
points.
Still, it's just in years to come where he speaks to his grandchildren, doesn't need to add that bit, does he? Look at this, every league game.
Yeah. 38, and then kind of put his hand over the bit where it said Sheffield United relegated.
Where did you finish, Grandad? Doesn't matter. 38.
What's that number? What's that 120 number over there? Is that goals conceded? No. Don't look at that bit.
What's that R next to you on 2 consecutive seasons, Grandad?
What's that big red highlighter over Sheffield United's name? Oh, we could go on like this for ages. So before we go, I know that you were getting raring to go for another one there. I could see with your lips puckering up.
Held me back. Good choice.
Yeah, we'll move on anyway. And what we'll say is before you leave, you leave us, we leave you, whatever. Make sure you like the video. We need likes on this video because this has taken a massive tumble since the Blades have been very, very poor. So watch it, like it, comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.